Hey guys, so I am back as promised with a video talking about the 3 foundations that I've already reviewed. So if you want to see a little more details about these foundations, click in the bottom. I'll put a link to all of them, and I'll also put a link on the screen so you can definitely check them out. And the foundations I'm talking about are the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra, the Covergirl Outlast Stay Fabulous foundation, and you can notice that I'm actually using Soft Sable from the lighter skinned brand, and that's mainly because I noticed that no shade matches me for when it's summertime, because I got a tan and I'm a lot darker than I was. So I find that this particular shade, the darkest shade in the other line, actually works better for me. It's the same formulation as the Queen collection, it's just it doesn't have the color range. So this one is actually what my skin tone is matched with right now. And then I'm talking about the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet, which is, yeah, awesome. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna talk about where I wear these foundations to, how I wear them, like where I wear each one to. I'm going to talk about the tools that I use to apply them, because I get that question a lot. I'm going to talk about the powders I use to set them with. I'm going to talk about how I prevent transfer, because you know it's annoying as a brown skin babe who, you know, puts her makeup on and then all of a sudden there are brown fingerprints everywhere in the office. And then I'm going to talk about how I sustain my makeup the longest, like how I keep the makeup on my face for as long as possible. So let's get started with the foundations. A couple things that I noticed about this particular foundation since I started using it is the fact that it gets goopy at the bottom if you're not careful. And it just, like, I don't know, I was using it one day and it wouldn't pump out, and I was like, did I use this up already? Like, am I that crazy? But I opened it up and I noticed that there was literally still half of the foundation in the bottle. So what you want to do is definitely shake this up on a regular basis from the time that you get it, or maybe sometimes even store it upside down and, like, you know, move it around, because I find that the liquidy part gets suctioned up first and then there's like all this goop in the bottom. It doesn't affect how the foundation applies to the face. Foundation is still great, but I do notice that you definitely, like, it's annoying when you have to scoop it up at the end. Like for like half the bottle you have to like scoop it up if you haven't been shaking it. So I would definitely advise people to shake this up before you use it. And those are the kinds of things that you have to, you know, sacrifice when it comes to price, because this is a good foundation. It just happens to be a little cheaper than the others, and that's kind of what determines like the quality is not as good as the other two that I'm going to talk about. Lancome Teint Idole Ultra, still love it. It's amazing. It claims to be 24 hours and it really is. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I have absolutely no complaints with this. Nothing has changed since I've been using this. And for the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet, the one thing I have noticed is it's not as long lasting as I thought it was, because I do notice that my scars start to reappear if I do wear it in the morning. Like by afternoon when I get home, I look at my face and somehow the makeup is not there even though I haven't touched my face. Like, where does it go? I don't know. Anyway, that kind of drives us into where I wear these foundations to, how I wear them. This one is the most expensive, so naturally I kind of want to not use it all the time. But I also try to be selective with when I use this. I use this when I know that I'm going to be gone all day. Like, I leave my house in the morning and I have somewhere to go in the afternoon and the evening, and I don't have time to rush home, and like, I never really redo my face anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, if you need this to last you the entire day, this is definitely the way to go. Your face will remain beautiful all day, and it just speaks to the quality. I mean, I guess that's what you're paying for. The long-lasting amazingness of this foundation. In terms of this one, I only use this really when I am going out. Like if I have an event to go to in the evening. It has no SPF, it photographs amazingly, it is Makeup Forever. I mean, it's great. Just doesn't last that long. So if I'm going to an event in the evening and I'm putting my makeup on like in the afternoon, or you know, like 6 o'clock, this is definitely what you want to use. It's beautiful, it photographs great, it stays matte on your face. So I use this one for like evening occasions, like when I go out. And then finally, I use my Covergirl every single day. This is what I use on a daily basis. I'm so glad I found a foundation that is friendly to my pocket that I can use. It doesn't break me out. I don't have any issues issues with it other than the goopiness of the formula. This is absolutely great. So if you haven't tried this foundation out and you have oily, acne prone skin, I would definitely go for this. Definitely between this and the Queen collection if you're looking for your shade. But yeah, this is for every day for me, unless, you know, I'm doing something out of the ordinary. So that takes care of that. And now I'm going to talk about what I use to apply my makeup. Now, it's very important. Like, what you use to apply your makeup is very important, because that's going to be the difference between how you feel about it and how you don't feel about it. Especially if it's a good foundation but it's water based, or if it's silicone based and then you use a stipple brush that leaves the streaks on your face, when if you used something else it would have made it look amazing. So you definitely want to be careful with what you apply your makeup with. I do get a lot of questions about that. Now in life I have discovered the Beauty Blender, and I am just 100% behind this. This actually works for all the foundations. So what I do is I soak it in water in the morning, and I just put 1 pump of foundation on my face, and I dot it all over first, and then I start to dot and blend and dot and blend, especially on my scars, and I get my entire face covered. And then if I need more coverage with the foundation, I go ahead and add the coverage or put another pump and dab it on and just blend it in, and it just works amazingly. So first of all, like for all of these, this is what I would go for. That's what I recommend. Now, if you're not in the budget for the Beauty Blender, because it is $20, the Birchbox website does have 2 for $25, which would make more sense to me for you to purchase it. So I guess I'll put a link in the bottom. And no, that's not sponsored. I buy them myself. But yeah, if you're looking for brushes, this is what I used to do before I really discovered the Beauty Blender. Not to say that I won't ever use my brushes again, but I love these brushes, and this is what I went to. I don't have expensive brushes. Would I like to try some expensive brushes? Sure. It's not something that I'm really running towards, because these work for me. First 2, I know a lot of people already use this one. This is the e.l.f. Powder brush. It works for powder, it works for foundation, it works for everything. So this is definitely a go-to brush for everybody. It works amazingly. I think the only issue is it can be a little cheap because some of mine have popped out and I just shove them back in. The other issue I have with this is it does soak up a little more product than I want it to. So how I use it is I dab on the product all over my face first and work it in. That way I don't have to just work on one part and have all the foundation in, like, get soaked into the brush. Second brush, which I would recommend, for the silicone based ones, which are these 2, the Lancome and the Makeup Forever. I would definitely recommend this e.l.f. small stipple brush, and I think these e.l.f. ones are $3. Can't go wrong with that. The small stipple brush is better than the big stipple brush. It's a lot more dense. You can definitely work them into your face, and I absolutely love it. The third brush that I would recommend for all 3 is the Real Techniques brush. The only thing, we'll get to that, the Real Techniques buffing brush is great for foundation in general. So those are the 3 brushes that I do recommend in terms of foundation. They're definitely great for your pocket and they work amazingly. The only foundation that does stand out in terms of application is this one, because it's a lot more water based. So I find that when I use them with a brush, especially a dirty brush, it can get streaky. That's why a sponge comes in to really help you blend that out. And when you do apply this with a sponge, the finish will be a lot better and less streaky than if you apply it with a brush or a dirty brush. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Moving on to powders. I set all my foundation with my MAC Studio Fix powder and NW45. I'm really trying to be better with my ingredient choices, but for now this is all that I have found that really works for my skin, that keeps me matte all day and gives me the coverage. Yes, it is a foundation. People ask me why I use a foundation on top of foundation, because it's an amazing powder and it gives me extra coverage with the scars that I have on my face. So you are more than welcome to use whatever setting powder that you choose. This is just what works for me. It just gives me a flawless application. Now, just moving quickly into, I'm going to talk about how I keep my makeup on my face all day. Easy. Setting spray, De-Slick by Urban Decay. You can use All Nighter. You can use the Scandinavian ones directly, and I think you can find those online. I'll try to put all the links for everything I'm mentioning in the bottom so you can find those easily. But De-Slick works great. The first thing it does is it removes the powdery look from your face. Like when I put my powder on, I look like Mattville on my face, which I love, I don't mind, but I find that it just looks more natural when I put this on, and it stays that way all day. So it's not like completely scary matte, but it's just like natural to the face, and I absolutely love the finish that it gives me. And now the whole transfer issue, that I find is eliminated when I put a translucent powder on my face when everything is completely done. So I put my foundation, I put my powder, I do my eyeshadow or whatever, put my liner, my blush and everything. Then I use my setting spray. Once that sets, I use a translucent powder over my face very lightly, and I use this brush from Rite Aid. Any huge fluffy brush that you can just like swirl the powder on your face with will work, and it doesn't like disturb the makeup you've put. It just kind of fills in the face. I actually use this particular translucent powder, and I didn't know it was going to be that amazing. I'm just kind of obsessed with Haute Look, and I'll put a link in the bottom. If you guys are not on Haute Look, you need to get on it right now. Like, get on Haute Look. I'll put a link in the bottom. Check it out. Sign up. All you need to do is check the emails every single day. I don't buy everything from them. I don't buy a lot from them, but when they do have deals, they have great deals, and they're actually a Nordstrom company. So anyway, enough about that. The balm on Haute Look always has like a lot of deals, and I got this on sale, and I'm so glad I got it, and the next time they have it I will get it. This is the balm translucent powder. This is what it looks like. Oh my goodness, this like, let me just show you guys. Like, people think that darker skin tones can't use a translucent powder, but let me tell you, once I put this on my face, like, you still see the rest of the makeup, but it just has a great way of just finishing the face. And once you touch something and touch, like, you touch your face and touch something else, the transfer is not going to be there. That's really how I prevent transfer on everything. I use a translucent powder, and as you can see, it just gives you a great finish. Like, it doesn't leave you white. So I guess the difference is finding a good one, and this is the one I use. I don't really know about any other translucent powders, but that's what has worked for me. So I'm sorry if this video has been a little lengthy. I had a lot to cover in here, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful. I like to give helpful information on my channel. And if you're wondering about this hair, it's a hair I had from the other video. It's Drew by Vichy, and I'm gonna have a review about this. I've had to do a lot of playing with this to actually get it to look decent on my face. The other video I had literally just taken it out of the box, so I'll be talking about that a little later. Check out my blog. I moved, and I have a whole bunch of new furniture and things I did here, so I'm just going to be blogging about that, taking pictures, letting you guys know where I found these pieces. Whew, too long. Time to go. I'll see you guys later. Bye.